I will introduce our last speaker before our lunch break. We have Kathrin Krausa going, who is going to be talking about BEEtopia, a center for the conservation of bees through research and education in Tanzania.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And many regards from Tanzania. This is a talk that is probably slightly different from all the other talks that you have been listening today already and going to listen to, because I'm not going to present research, but more of an opportunity to do research. So in this case, you're more than welcome to take pictures of this presentation and spread the word about the opportunity that we are having here. So we are, as it says, a Center for the Conservation of Bees through Research and Education. We call it BEEtopia, so it's a utopia for bee, a kind of sanctuary, a place where bees can thrive. And we are located in Africa, from looking from far away, and then in closer we are in Tanzania. In Tanzania, we believe that we have between 800 and 1,000 bee species. Still, a lot of them are unknown and remain in the drawers of taxonomists. We do have one honeybee species and 3 subspecies, and we also believe that we have at least 12 stingless bee species. Or 12 we know, we believe there should be some more. And because so much is known around honeybees, this is not really what we focus on. We mostly focus on the solitary bees as well as the stingless bees. And we do that in northern Tanzania on the slopes of Mount Meru, the second highest volcano in Tanzania. And it's just the neighboring volcano of Kilimanjaro, the highest in Africa. And when I say we, then I mean myself. I'm currently a visiting scientist here. And my partner, Warren, who is the entrepreneur side of things and has built up a huge network of farmers over the past 7 years. I have been a visiting scientist prior to this at BEEtopia in Kenya, the International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology. And now I'm having one food in academia and one in more conservation related issues. And yeah, at BEEtopia, we basically have a big outdoor training center where we host different species of stingless bees and solitary ones. In terms of the stingless, naturally occur in our area 4 species. Those are the very, very tiny small bees that are in southern Africa known as mopani bees or also sweat bees. And those produce tiny amounts of honey. And then we have the 2 biggest species, Meliponula togrensis and Meliponula ferruginea, that are producing some amounts of honey, and consequently they're used in meliponiculture in our part of the world. And the 4 species that exists here is Plevina hildebrandt or Marta, depending on which taxonomist you follow. That is a ground nesting stingless bee species, which is in trouble because their honey is used, but it is used in a non-sustainable way. So we mostly work with the bigger Meliponula species, and that together with a big network of stingless beekeepers that are resident on the slopes of the 2 volcanoes. The picture you see in the top left is a bit of an exception, because this is a beekeeper that has a lot of colonies, which is not usually the case. Most beekeepers have maybe 2 or 3 colonies, and they treat them as first aid boxes at their houses. The colonies produce very little honey, but their honey is highly valued as a medicine for various ailments, from coughs, sore throats, stomach ulcers, or topical usage. And that's how the traditional knowledge and usage is, not so much for actually selling the honey or marketing the honey. We work together with these farmers and help with building a market for their honey, but also help with sustainable techniques around the harvesting and colony splitting, because meliponiculture is something that is not so highly developed in Africa, especially if you compare it with meliponiculture in Central and Southern America, where it goes back into ancient times of Incas, Mayans, and these cultures. But here it is, a lot of the techniques are not that advanced, and especially when it comes to the sourcing of colonies, it goes often hand in hand with deforestation and illegal activities in the forest. So what we try to do is train on how to harvest in a sustainable manner, but also how to split colonies in a way that one does not have to go and source them from the forests. And we find that, actually we find meliponiculture is thriving on these mountains here. But with the more pharmacies on like every corner, we find that the knowledge is rather going down. So don't get me wrong, it is wonderful that there are pharmacies and medicine is readily available, but it has led to a decrease in knowledge on stingless beekeeping. That's what we observe when we talk to our farmers. And yet, counterintuitive maybe, the demand of stingless bee honey is increasing the more people learn about it and want the stingless bee honey. So we have this negative trend of knowledge decreasing, demand increasing, not knowledge decreasing and demand increasing. So while we think it is great that the demand is increasing and people want to go back to these natural medicines, we have to make sure that the knowledge and the demand are kind of aligned, and that it is all done in a very sustainable way. So while putting stingless bee honey on the market, it has to go hand in hand with sustainable practices and the knowledge transfer from the old generation to the next younger generation. And that we try to do at BEEtopia, at our center, through the network of farmers that we are having. So we have some individuals that are super successful in terms of how many colonies they manage, and others that maybe want to start or have 1 or 2 colonies, but due to these few numbers of colonies cannot make so many experiences and are in need of a network and more training. So we try to bring the farmers together and encourage a mentorship program where the very experienced and high-skilled farmer can train those that want to grow. And BEEtopia is kind of the hub in between, and the place where we try to be the conduit between what is known from research, what is the best practices that we can collect from all over the world, and then translate them and integrate them into the local and traditional knowledge that is here. Over the past 7 years, my partner has built up a network of around 50 households, and it's around 2,000 beehives that we are co-managing with the farmers. So it's a substantial network, and it is only growing. BEEtopia itself, the center, is only not even a year old. So December 2023 is when we opened, and but it all builds on this network. And the idea is that the farmers can come to BEEtopia and get a training here, and also we go out to the farmers and provide the training at their homes, because it's always a different thing if you learn it at a training place and then you go home and you might have forgotten half of it, or you just find a completely different situation at your own house and you're not sure how to proceed. So in those instances, we also go out and provide the service at their places. So far, and that means this year, since beginning 2024, we have trained around 80 farmers that came through BEEtopia, and we're just hitting in the harvesting season. So we are really getting everyone gets the fruits now, and the honey is coming in, and that is really exciting. And with this is just the one pillar of what BEEtopia is about. So the training of sustainable practices in the beekeeping community. The second pillar is education. So we open the whole place also to school groups that want to come around and make play-based and experience-based learning experiences at BEEtopia. And the beauty about working with stingless bees is that they don't sting. So there's really everybody, every age, every background can come and have positive experiences with bees without having to fear a sting. That's the second thing that we're doing. In the bottom left, you can see the inside of a stingless bee colony and a stingless bee queen. And you can see how easy it is to come close to these bees and look at them, smell the inside of the nest, and even taste their honey without having to fear anything. So we have a whole package of education that we can do with the kids, depending on how old they are and what their curriculum looks like at this point in time, and then we just provide extracurricular activities to that. And we have been supported in this endeavors by several partners, including Zeiss, who have been kind enough to sponsor us with a stereo microscope, which is always like it opens the eyes and minds of everybody if one can only look close enough. And so far in this year, 5 schools have come through BEEtopia and looked at our bees. Then we come to the third pillar, which is a bit more interesting in your context, and it's addressed to you. So we are doing research. I am a researcher myself. You can see all these boxes behind me are full of solitary bees, and but also we want to invite other researchers to use our facilities and use our network of farmers to help us understand these bees better. So this is a big invitation. Welcome, karibu sana, and help us understand these bees better. In Tanzania, we have a bee research master plan at the moment, where we just try to figure out a lot of things around honeybees, solitary bees, as well as these stingless bees. And this is just an outline of the suggested research activities around stingless bees that the ministry suggests one should look at. So if you find yourself somewhere there, please always feel free to contact us, and then we can make a plan, because what we do is basically research facilitation. So we can help with the logistics involved with research projects. We can help with compliance, so research permits, acquiring research permits, and help with that. We could help with field assistance, translations, obviously, and then could facilitate the access to the network of beekeepers and stakeholders of the agricultural sector, for example. But also we have a stock of stingless bees ourselves that could be used for research. So if you are interested in a certain behavioral thing that you want to study, then one could allocate some colonies to this, and and we all learn more. And last but not least, we do consultancy as well, and can basically help with your research. One of the projects that is I'm currently doing is called Non-Apis Pollinators for Sustainable Agriculture and Livelihoods, where we look into solitary bees on avocado farms, but also on smallholder farms, and look into the diversity, but also into the contribution they have in pollination on these farms. It is a work in progress, so I'm not in the position to share any data yet, unfortunately, but it's something to come out in the next couple of weeks. A good partner in all this research is TAWIRI, the Tanzanian Wildlife Research Institute, where Alain Poli is holding a position. He's one of the 2 experts on African bees, I would say, along with Conal Oatley. And he is a resident in Arusha, so that is very, very close to where we are. The fourth pillar is tourism. So what we also do is open the place and invite others to that have seen enough elephant and lion to look at the smaller things in life as well. Look at the small things that actually run the world, and come and learn about them. Partners we have here are then tour operators and tour companies. And the impact, I'm just looking at the time and I'm rushing through a little bit. The impact that we had with our work so far is that we managed 2,000 plus colonies. We have trained 80 beekeepers. We had 5 schools coming through, and have already have hosted visiting scientists, students, and volunteers. we have some research partnerships lined up, and we were in the position to celebrate World Bee Day in May this year. And it was a fantastic event where we again tried to bring together the beekeepers and the scientists and the general audience to celebrate bees. So this is, again, where we are. Those are our contact details. If you are interested in helping us understanding these bees better, you are more than welcome to reach out. And I'm hoping there's still time for questions.